Welcome everyone to this week's 10-Minute Country with me, James Dakin. We're going to talk about the C2C festival today. We're coming towards the dog days of summer. August is slowly grinding its way to an end, and with September we go back to school, we go back to work, we go back to cars on the road in the morning, and it can be quite depressing. So the one thing that always cheers us mainstream country fans up is the prospect of the October announcement of the C2C festival. Gets you through that tricky month of life returning back to normal, with things to look forward to and rumours and he said, she said, they said stuff on Facebook about which bands might be on. So I thought we would have a little look in anticipation of all that and maybe see how many we get right. I don't usually do very well. I think 4 out of the 11 or 12 is about the best I've ever got. So I'm not saying this is anywhere near any expert guessing. I don't have any insider knowledge. And in fact, I'm going to preface this by saying that this is not my dream lineup. Today's show is about not who I want to play the festival. It's who I, for one reason or another, think will be at the festival next year based on various criteria, which we'll explain as we go along. I do think the 2018 festival last year, the organisers snatched victory from the jaws of defeat by adding Sugarland to the Saturday bill, giving what was looking like a bit of a lighter day a much more gravitas. And this helped them get away with the fact that, for me, they had multiple acts on the bill that had only just toured the UK the previous autumn. So I felt there was a little bit of a loss of exclusivity last year. Tim and Faith definitely brought the wow factor. They were, I never thought I'd see the soul-to-soul experience in the UK. That was great. Luke Combs and Midland brought the effervescence. Kip was Kip, wasn't he? That's all you need to say about him. He could appear every year and no one would be disappointed. And Little Big Town were as faultless as ever. But there wasn't a terrific amount of wow factor last year. For me, until the Sugarland, once I got over Tim and Faith, and then when Sugarland were announced, they sort of managed to redeem themselves. So what can we assume for 2019? Well, my criteria for putting this bill that I'm just about to present you with together is as follows. I've included artists that have got albums to promote. That's always high on the list. We've got to look at how we can ensure a gender balance. Rightly or wrongly, C2C firmly believe in a bit of affirmative action when it comes to female representation on the bill. That causes a great deal of debate on social media between the people who are happy to see more women on the bill and the people who are often actually women who want to see more men on the bill. So there's never a right or wrong answer on that one, but certainly if last year's lineup is anything to go by, there is going to be about a 50-50 split of men and women, which is a good thing in my opinion. Got to think about the budget as well. I don't want to use the B word, but I did overhear a conversation with the organisers 2 years ago about how Brexit has changed the value of the pound against the dollar and has harmed C2C's strength in the marketplace to attract artists. And we have seen a move towards spending more on the headliners and then populating the rest of the bill with younger up-and-coming talent in the last couple of years. And the other criteria I've got to bear in mind is the developing Sunday legend slot. Last year it was Emmylou Harris, the year before it was Marty Stewart. Year before that, although it was on the Friday night, it was Dwight Yoakam. So there is definitely a move towards a legend on the bill somewhere. It seems to have settled just before the Sunday night's headliners. One thing to bear in mind for 2019 is that there's a new hand on the tiller as well. The previous festival director, Millie Ollican, has moved on. She's joined the CMA as VP of International Relations and Development. Although given the CMA have been advising AEG and SJM concerts about the lineup for a few years now, Millie may well have still a say in proceedings, but this will be the first C2C festival not under her direct control. and therefore it's a bit of an unknown territory as to what things will change and what will stay the same. So, with that in mind, here is my prediction for the 2019 C2C bill. Friday night, I've gone for the traditional three artists. I've gone for Cam to open, Jake Owen to come on next, and then Carrie Underwood or Keith Urban to headline. Cam is a no-brainer. We love her over here. She'll have a new album out, presumably by then. She's over in September for a select few dates, which is an ideal time to sign up some contracts. C2C have a history of approaching people who have toured the UK in September and October of the previous year. So I think she'll be on the bill. Jake Owen is way overdue. He's someone every year that when the bill comes out, I've got my fingers crossed. Jake Owen. I'd love to see him over here. He's done some patchy songs throughout his career, but he's got some absolute belters as well. And he is currently sitting at number 1 this week in the American country charts with his Jack and Diane remix. So there's a zeitgeist effect going on with him, and he'll have a new album out by then as well. Keith Urban is many people's sort of must-see wish, but there's been persistent rumours about him not wanting to be marketed as a country artist over here in the UK, and I think he's probably turned down a headlining slot a few times already. But if Facebook rumours are to be believed, he's already told some people in Canada that he's booked to play London, Glasgow and Dublin early 2019. So whether that's a separate tour or whether that's C2C is yet to be seen. But it does look like Keith Urban might be finally coming over. And if not, I'm guessing that when she's over in the country in September at the Long Road Festival, I think C2C might well settle for Carrie Underwood. And it's not settling, is it? Because she's a wonderful artist. To me, she is the greatest female country singer in the range and the power of her voice that there's ever been. So it's not settling. But Friday night, I've gone for Cam, Jake Owen, Carrie Underwood or Keith Urban. On the Saturday, we're going to have Carly Pearce open proceedings. She was locked in for this year, and then I think she got the Blake Shelton tour and had to pull out. And I think she's hinted to various interviewers that there are UK dates on the way for 2019. So I think Carly is a fairly obvious contender for a place on the bill. I've got her opening the Saturday. Followed by Randy Houser. He'll have a new album out by then. He's got a new single out right now. He came for Country Week last October. So there's a relationship already there with the organisers. And I think he'll be on the bill on the Saturday. And then I've gone for Brothers Osborne, followed by Dierks Bentley. Currently both on tour with each other. Burning Man is probably, alongside Carrie Underwood's Cry Pretty, my favourite country song of the year so far. I think the two artists get on very well. Brothers Osborne are over here in the autumn. They have a great relationship with the English, and no one can dispute that it's long overdue. Dierks pays us a visit. So Saturday, I'm going for Carly Pearce, Randy Houser, Brothers Osborne and Dierks Bentley. On the Sunday, I've got Ashley McBryde opening. She was this year's breakout artist. And if we follow the Maren Morris precedent, I do think you're allowed to play the Spotlight stage 1 year and come back and play on the main stage the year after. So I think Ashley will be on. And I think that would be a massive, massive bonus for the bill to have someone of her quality opening up the Sunday. Following Ashley, I've gone for Chris Jansen. Drunk Girl is behind Cry Pretty and Burning Man, probably my favourite song of the year. He's a nice sort of traditional sounding artist. He's got some great songs on his new album Everybody. Fits that Sunday slightly more traditional feel that they have at C2C. So we've gone opening with Ashley McBryde, Chris Jansen next, and the headlining slot, I'm going to reveal the legend in a minute. Headliners, I've gone for Pistol Annies. We've got to have some more gender representation from the girls on there. Pistol Annies have been hinting that they're making music together. Miranda and Angelina and Ashley have been pictured together in the studio and a concert, and so I think C2C would do well to go after Pistol Annie's for headliners on that Sunday night. Be a great way to close it off. There'd be some nice traditional music on there, and a bit of an exclusive performance in the UK. For the Legends slot, I can't choose this one. It's always a bit of a random. I think most people would want Alan Jackson, but I don't know whether he's out of budget or doesn't really want to come over. So beyond Alan Jackson, I think you could look at Martina McBride. She's been over before. She would suit that legend slot, as would Leanne Womack. She's played before. She's over here in September. She could sign a contract. Trace Atkins would probably be my personal favourite because I used to love a lot of his stuff from the 90s. Leanne Rimes, she's played before, overdue a visit. Vince Gill, never rule out. The Mayor of Nashville. Brooks and Dunn even as a long shot. There's loads that could do that legend slot. And I just am not confident in predicting who it would be. So I'm going to lay all those out before you in the hope that I then look prescient when the announcement is made. So there's my C2C 2019. Cam, Jake Owen, Carrie or Keith on the Friday. Carly Pearce, Randy Houser, Brothers Osborne, Dirks Bentley on the Saturday. Ashley McBride, Chris Jansen, one of 6 or 7 legends, and Pistol Annie's on the Sunday.